Welcome to another deep dive with me. And today we're doing something a little different. We're going to be diving deep into a book that is all about you and your potential for greatness. So the book we're looking at today is called Unlocking Your Path to Greatness, Finding Your Dream Career and Achieving Success. And now I know what you might be thinking. Business metaphysics. That sounds a little out there. But I promise you, this book is actually very practical. It takes a very grounded approach, blending kind of traditional career advice with a unique perspective on how to achieve success. And it's all about how to take those big, maybe even a little scary dreams and turning them into reality. And the best part, the book says that anyone can achieve greatness. So I can't wait to dig in and see what that actually means.
Yeah, I agree. It's a fascinating premise. And the book starts off by breaking down greatness into three distinct types.
Okay, so let's unpack these types of greatness.
Okay, so the first type is born greatness. And this is the idea that some people are simply born with. Exceptional talents or advantages. And think about Mozart, composing symphonies as a child, or Serena Williams, dominating tennis from a young age. Now, while the book acknowledges this type of greatness, it quickly shifts focus to the two types that we can cultivate: achieved greatness and learned greatness.
This is where it gets really interesting for me. Yeah. Because we're not just talking about being lucky enough to be born with a certain talent. It's about recognizing that we all have the potential for greatness within us, just waiting to be unlocked. So tell me more about these other two types of greatness. What's the difference between achieved and learned?
Well-achieved greatness is built on consistent effort, goal setting, and taking action. You can think about someone like Oprah Winfrey, who came from humble beginnings, but rose to incredible success through sheer determination and hard work. You know, it's that classic hard work pays off story. But this book actually gives us specific strategies to make that hard work truly effective.
Right. So it's like saying, okay, maybe not everyone's destined to be a Mozart or a Serena Williams, but we can all strive for greatness in our own way through dedication and effort. What about learned greatness? That sounds intriguing.
Yeah, that's the part that I find particularly exciting. Learned greatness emphasizes that it's never too late to learn new skills, change your mindset, and achieve great things. Think Colonel Sanders, who didn't achieve major success with KFC until he was in his 60s. So it's about recognizing that our potential isn't fixed. It's something we can continue to develop throughout our lives.
Oh, I love that. It's so empowering to think that. We can always learn and grow and strive for something more, no matter what stage of life we're in. Okay, so the book says that anyone can achieve greatness, but let's be real. There are always obstacles. What does it say about overcoming those inevitable roadblocks on the path to greatness?
Yeah, that's what the book dives into. The three key powers for success: the power of thought, the power of imagination, and the power of repetition.
Okay, let's break those down. First up, the power of thought. What's the big idea here?
Well, the book emphasizes that our mindset literally shapes our reality. So it dives into mindfulness techniques to help you control negative thoughts and cultivate a more positive and focused mental state.
Mindfulness is such a buzzword these days. Can you give some specific examples of the techniques the book recommends? Because I'm always curious to learn about practical tools for managing those negative thoughts that inevitably creep in.
Absolutely. One technique that the book highlights is mindful breathing. It's as simple as it sounds, focusing on your breath, noticing the sensation of each inhale and exhale. And this helps to anchor you in the present moment and quiet the mental chatter. Another technique is called thought labeling. So when a negative thought arises, you simply acknowledge it without judgment, saying to yourself, this is a thought about feeling anxious, or this is a thought about not being good enough. By labeling the thought, you create some distance between yourself and the thought, lessening its power over you.
That's a great point. It's like you're observing the thought rather than getting swept away by it. It reminds me of meditation. Is that another technique the book suggests?
Yes. The book is a big proponent of regular meditation practice for cultivating a calmer, more focused mind. It encourages finding a quiet space, focusing on your breath, and simply observing your thoughts without judgment. The key is to practice regularly, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. Over time, you'll find that you're better able to manage those negative thoughts and cultivate a more positive and empowered mindset.
Okay, so we're talking about mindful breathing, thought labeling, and meditation. What's interesting to me is how these techniques really emphasize the power we have over our own thoughts. It's not about pretending that negative thoughts don't exist. It's about learning to manage them so they don't control us. Now, the next power for success is the power of imagination. I'm curious to hear more about this. It sounds like we're not just talking about daydreaming here.
You're right. This isn't just about whimsical daydreaming. The book emphasizes visualization as a powerful tool for setting clear goals and priming your mind for success.
So it's about intentionally using our imagination to create a vision of what we want to achieve. Can you give an example of what that might look like in practice?
Absolutely. Let's say your goal is to land a new job. Instead of just vaguely wishing for it, you'd create a detailed mental picture of yourself in that new role. You might visualize yourself confidently walking into a job interview, articulately answering questions, and receiving a job offer. You might even imagine yourself working in the new office, collaborating with colleagues, and feeling a sense of accomplishment. The more vivid and detailed your visualization, the more powerful it will be.
It's like creating a mental blueprint for your success. I can see how that would help. To build confidence and motivation, does the book offer any insights into why visualization is so effective?
It does. The book explains that visualization activates the same neural pathways in the brain as actually performing the action. So by repeatedly visualizing yourself succeeding, you're essentially training your brain for success. It's like giving your brain a mental rehearsal for the real thing.
That's incredible. So we're not just talking about some feel-good new age concept here. There's actually scientific evidence to support the power of visualization.
Exactly, and the book encourages readers to apply visualization techniques to any area of their lives where they want to see improvement, whether it's their career, relationships, health, or personal growth.
Okay, so we've covered the power of thought and the power of imagination. Now let's move on to the third power for success, the power of repetition. I think this is where things get really real, right? It's about putting in the work, day after day, to achieve our goals. What are some of the key ideas the book presents about the power of repetition?
Well, the book is all about consistency and perseverance. It emphasizes that mastery and success come from repeated effort, practice, and refinement.
I'm hearing echoes of that famous Thomas Edison quote. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration.
Exactly. It's not about overnight breakthroughs, but about showing up day after day, even when it's tough.
This resonates with me so much. You know, I used to get so discouraged when I didn't see immediate results, but I've learned that consistency is key, especially when it comes to building new habits or mastering new skills. What kind of advice does the book give on developing that kind of perseverance?
One of the key pieces of advice is to cultivate a marathon mindset rather than a sprint mindset. You know, achieving greatness takes time, consistent effort, and a willingness to learn and adapt along the way.
I love that analogy. It's about pacing yourself, knowing that there will be ups and downs, but staying focused on the long-term goal. Does the book offer any specific strategies for building that marathon mindset? Because I think that's where a lot of people struggle, myself included.
Well, one suggestion that the book offers is to break down your goals into smaller, more manageable steps. So instead of focusing on the overwhelming enormity of your ultimate goal, just focus on taking one small step forward each day.
That makes so much sense. It's like the saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It feels much less daunting when you break it down into bite-sized chunks. What else does the book suggest?
It also emphasizes the importance of celebrating those small wins. It's so easy to get caught up in the what's next mentality that we forget to acknowledge our progress and give ourselves credit for how far we've come.
Oh, I am totally guilty of that. I'm always pushing myself towards the next goal without taking the time to appreciate the wins along the way.
The book encourages readers to develop a practice of gratitude, to take time each day, to appreciate their accomplishments, no matter how small. Gratitude not only boosts our happiness and well-being, but it also fuels our motivation and keeps us moving forward.
Okay, so we're talking about breaking down goals, celebrating progress, and cultivating gratitude. What other practical tips does the book offer for harnessing the power of repetition?
Another important suggestion is to create a routine, whether it's a daily writing practice, a weekly exercise routine, or a monthly budget review. The book emphasizes the importance of establishing consistent habits that support your goals.
Routine is so key. It takes the guesswork out of things and helps you stay on track even when you're not feeling particularly motivated.
Absolutely. The book also recommends finding an accountability partner, someone who can support you, encourage you, and help you stay committed to your goals.
That makes sense. It's much easier to stay motivated when you know someone is cheering you on.
Yeah.
And holding you accountable.
Exactly. And this accountability partner doesn't have to be a formal coach or mentor. It could be a friend, family member, or colleague who share similar goals.
So to sum up the power of repetition, we're talking about having that marathon mindset, breaking down goals, celebrating wins, establishing routines, and finding an accountability partner. It's about showing up consistently and putting in the work, even when it's challenging. And it's about remembering that those small, consistent actions over time lead to big results.
You summed it up perfectly. And speaking of support, the book also dives into the importance of seeking external guidance
Yeah.
and mentorship. You know, it's an essential element on the path to greatness, but one that many people overlook.
That's a great point. We don't have to figure everything out on our own. There's wisdom and support available to us if we're open to receiving it. But where do we even begin? To find those mentors or guides, I think that can feel intimidating, especially if you're just starting out in your career.
Well, the book encourages a multifaceted approach to finding mentorship, and we'll dive into those strategies and much more after a quick break. So the book suggests starting with your existing network, thinking about the people you already know and admire. Is there someone who embodies qualities that you aspire to have? Or someone who has achieved success in a field that interests you?
That's a great starting point. Sometimes we overlook the amazing people already in our lives who could offer valuable guidance. But what if you're feeling a little bolder and want to expand your network?
The book encourages that too. It suggests attending industry events, joining professional organizations, or even connecting with people online who inspire you. Platforms like LinkedIn can be great resources for finding and connecting with potential mentors.
So it's about being proactive and putting yourself out there. But let's be real, approaching someone you admire and asking for mentorship can feel intimidating. What's the best way to go about it?
The book recommends being clear and direct about your intentions. Explain why you admire their work and what you hope to learn from them. And be respectful of their time. Offer to meet them for coffee or a virtual chat, and come prepared with specific questions.
That makes sense. It's about being prepared and showing that you value their time and expertise. Anything else we should keep in mind when reaching out to potential mentors?
The book emphasizes the importance of being a good mentee. Be eager to learn, be open to feedback, and be willing to put their advice into action.
Right. It's about approaching mentorship as a two-way street, a relationship where both parties benefit. But what if someone isn't able to commit to a formal mentorship relationship? Are there other ways to seek guidance?
Absolutely. Mentorship doesn't always have to be a formal, structured relationship. Sometimes it's about seeking inspiration and knowledge from a variety of sources. The book suggests immersing yourself in the wisdom of others through books, podcasts, workshops, and even online communities.
It's like creating your own personal board of advisors, drawing inspiration and support from a diverse range of voices and perspectives. Okay, so we've covered mentorship. What about the book's advice on seeking spiritual guidance? That's an interesting concept to apply to career success.
It is. And the book acknowledges that spirituality is a deeply personal journey. It doesn't prescribe any specific religious traditions or practices. Instead, it encourages readers to connect with what resonates with them on a deeper level.
So this could mean anything from traditional religious practices to meditation, mindfulness, or spending time in nature.
Yeah, the key is to find what helps you feel connected to something larger than yourself, something that provides a sense of meaning, purpose, and guidance.
It's about tapping into that inner wisdom, that intuition that helps us navigate life's challenges and make choices that are aligned with our values. But how does this tie into achieving career success?
Well, spiritual practices can foster qualities that are essential for success in any field. Things like resilience, patience, compassion, and the ability to see the bigger picture. They can also help us connect with a sense of purpose that fuels our motivation and drives us forward.
I see the connection. It's about cultivating those inner qualities that allow us to thrive in any situation, whether it's a challenging work project or navigating the ups and downs of our careers. Okay, so we've talked about mentorship and spiritual guidance. What about the importance of self-awareness?
The book highlights self-awareness as a crucial step on the path to greatness. It encourages readers to take the time to really understand their strengths, weaknesses, values, and passions.
It's about knowing yourself right. What am I good at? What do I enjoy doing? What kind of impact do I want to make on the world? These are big questions, but essential ones to explore if we want to create a career that truly aligns with who we are.
Exactly. And the book provides some practical tools for exploring these questions. It suggests things like journaling, taking personality assessments, or talking to trusted friends and family members for their perspectives.
It's like gathering data about yourself from both internal and external sources, and then using that information to create a roadmap for your career path. What else does the book say?
About cultivating self-awareness.
Well, the book emphasizes that self-discovery is an ongoing journey. As we grow and evolve, our values, passions, and aspirations may also shift and change.
It's not a one-time exercise, but a continuous process of checking in with ourselves, reflecting on our experiences, and adjusting our course as needed. I love that perspective.
The book argues that when we have a strong sense of self-awareness, we're better equipped to make choices that are aligned with our authentic selves, and those choices lead to greater happiness, fulfillment, and ultimately success. It's about designing a career path and a life that feels authentically you, rather than trying to fit yourself into someone else's mold. Now, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about harnessing the 3 powers for success: thought, imagination, and repetition. And we've explored the importance of seeking external support through mentorship and spiritual guidance, and internal guidance through self-awareness. What stands out to you as the key takeaway from all of this?
What's striking to me is how beautifully all of these elements weave together to create a holistic path to greatness. It's about cultivating a positive mindset, visualizing your success, and taking consistent action. But it's also about seeking guidance from others, connecting with your inner wisdom, and being true to yourself along the way.
It's like a symphony of different elements coming together to create a masterpiece. And it's a masterpiece that each of us can create in our own unique way.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this book so empowering. It's not about following a rigid formula for success. It's about embracing your individuality, honoring your strengths and passions, and creating a life that feels both meaningful and successful.
This has given me so much to think about. In terms of my own journey, what about you, listeners? What's resonating with you most from all of this? What one step could you take today to start unlocking your own path to greatness? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep reaching for your dreams. So we've talked about so many powerful tools and strategies for achieving greatness, from cultivating a positive mindset to visualizing success. It's clear that we have more control over our destinies than we often realize. But as we wrap up our deep dive into unlocking your path to greatness, I'm curious to hear the book's concluding thoughts. What's the final message it leaves readers with?
Well, the book ends on a really powerful note, with a reminder that the journey to greatness is unique for everyone, but the core principles remain the same: self-discovery, perseverance, and the willingness to seek help when needed.
That's such an important message, because it reminds us that we're not alone on this journey, right? There's support available to us, whether it's from mentors, spiritual guides, or even the wisdom we find within ourselves.
Exactly. And ultimately, it's up to each of us to take those first steps, to embrace the journey, and to unlock the greatness that lies within.
This deep dive has been so insightful. It's given me so much to think about in terms of my own path to greatness. What about you, listeners? What's resonating with you most from this book? What one step could you take today to start unlocking your own path to greatness? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. And remember, greatness is within everyone's grasp. It's just a matter of uncovering it. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep reaching for your dreams.